And we'll start. Welcome, everyone. And welcome to our 12th session of Living This Year as if it's our last. And at this point in our process, there is no time left. And I think you're all aware that we are going to die today. So at some point, you may want to reflect on what, if anything, remained to be done before you died today. What is left for you? It is not our last possibility for gathering, though. As we previously announced, there will be a special additional session on January 15th, and we will talk more about that at the end of the gathering today. Today's format's going to be just a little bit different. The centerpiece will be the guided death meditation. We will start by lighting the candle and the poem. But previously at this point, you would have gone into your breakout rooms to check in about how the practice went over the last month, how the practice is going for you. But today, we'll instead do the guided meditation at that point. And you'll then go into your small groups and have more time in the room to both check in and reflect on the experience of the death meditation, of dying. We'll then come back into the big group for a short time to talk about creating a ritual to conclude this year of living as if you had 1 year to live. You'll then go back into your small groups to talk about a ritual. And finally, we'll come back into the big group to conclude. Any questions about today? Okay, so I will start by lighting the candle. A beautiful saging tradition. And I light this candle to represent and symbolize the wisdom in each of us and the wisdom in all of us. And again, our quick reminders to please raise your digital hand when you're speaking in the whole group, and to please mute yourself unless you are speaking. To please keep your camera on as much as possible, except today, if it feels more comfortable for you during the guided meditation, please feel free to turn off your camera. And I'll give more instructions about that. Also, please change your name on Zoom if necessary, and please contact either Georgiana or Diane in the chat if you have technological problems related to Zoom. And here is the poem for our work together today. It's called Living in the Body, and it's by Joyce Sutphin. Body is something you need in order to stay on this planet, and you only get one. And no matter which one you get, it will not be satisfactory. It will not be beautiful enough. It will not be fast enough. It will not keep on for days at a time, but will pull you down into a sleepy swamp and demand apples and coffee and chocolate cake. Body is a thing you have to carry from one day into the next. Always the same eyebrows over the same eyes, in the same skin when you look in the mirror, and the same creaky knee when you get up from the floor, and the same wrist under the wristband. The changes you can make are small and costly. Better to leave it as it is. Body is a thing that you have to leave eventually. You know that because you have seen others do it, others who were once like you, living inside their pile of bones and flesh, smiling at you, loving you, leaning in the doorway, talking to you for hours, and then one day they are gone. No forwarding address. So we're now going to move into the death meditation. And again, if it feels more comfortable to you, the meditation will take about 20 minutes. If it feels more comfortable to you, you're welcome to turn off your camera. You're welcome to lie down. Many people do for this. Sometimes it can actually bring us more of a sense of reality, if you will, to the process. But as always, please make sure that whatever posture you choose, it allows you to stay both comfortable and alert and aware. And please be sure that you feel completely supported in whatever posture you choose. This can be a profound experience, and it needs to be your experience. So please take in what is right for you, and please feel free to leave what is not right for you. So we'll begin by either closing the eyes or taking a soft gaze, not focusing on anything in particular. If your eyes are open, you may want to keep them directed at the slide that now is on your screen. And that slide will be up for the whole meditation. So bring your attention to your breath as it moves in and out of the body. Focus on the breath in whatever way you can so that you can follow its movement, so that you can follow the inhale as the breath comes into the body and the exhale as the breath leaves the body. The inhale, bringing nourishing oxygen, the gift to us from the plants, and the exhale, taking out of the body what is not needed, and our gift to the plants. Take 3 deep breaths, noticing each moment of the inhale as you breathe in deeply, and each moment of the exhale as you breathe out. After these 3 deep breaths, allow the breath to return to its own natural rhythm and spend a few moments simply directing your attention to that breath. Nearly a year has now passed since you heard your doctor say that you have 1 year to live. Allow your mind to review the year, how you felt as you heard the news, and the aftermath, what you said to your loved ones to break the news to them, and then throughout the year, what you would hope to be able to do within the year, and what you did and didn't do. The physical, mental, and other declines you've experienced throughout the year, and the growing withdrawal from the outside world as death draws nearer. Allow whatever arises in the mind to simply arise, be seen, and pass. Allow whatever emotions arise to simply arise, be seen, and pass. As the year has progressed, you've gradually declined. You've declined physically, you've declined mentally. What has it been like to experience the movement toward death? We've known all along that we're going to die, but now it's becoming real. Now we're within the last few days of our life. there may be a sense of being in a twilight space, a sense of being completely withdrawn from the outside world, being drawn completely and solely into the interior life of experience. There's a growing distance from even the sights, the sounds, the smells of the environment, and even from those in the environment. And with this distance comes a deepening silence and a growing stilling of thoughts and thinking. We move more and more into simply being. There may also be a sense of our sense of self itself breaking down, and more a feeling of even merging with all that is. For some, there may be a sense of the presence of those who have gone before us, or a sense of divinity as we know it, or of nature, or essence. And there may be a sense of a light or a presence to be followed out of this life into whatever comes next. We're simply experiencing what is true for us, not trying to make anything happen or to reach out for anything. We're simply allowing. There may still be thoughts arising. There may still be emotional experiences arising. We're simply allowing everything. We're not attaching to anything. Everything in our experience arises, stays for as long as it is, and then passes away. We're now in the last day of our life. That sense of twilight is deepening. Any interest in the workings of the world is gone. There is simply the leaving of this life, the leaving of this body. As we move closer to the end of this life, to the leaving of this body, there's an awareness that each inhale and each exhale has become shorter and shorter, and the time between them grows longer and longer. The breakdown of any sense of self may be complete, and the sense of merger, the sense of release into, may be moving toward its completion. and all is silent. And then finally, we become aware that this inhale is the last time that breath will enter the body. And then the last exhale. And with it, life has left the body. You have died. When you feel ready, take a few deep breaths. You may want to maybe move your fingers around a bit, move your toes a bit. Start to feel into the sensations of the body. And again, when you feel ready, either open your eyes or focus your gaze and come back into our gathering. And if you've turned your camera off, you may want to turn it back on. Welcome back. And we're now going to move into breakout rooms, into your small groups. You'll have a longer time than usual. They'll be 30 minutes long to give you time for both your check-in, your usual check-in, and to talk about and debrief the experience of the death meditation, if you feel moved to. Some people, it takes a bit longer. Some people don't process or integrate quickly. They need more time. So feel free, as always, to use this time as it best works for you. For the check-in, there are the usual topics that we suggest, and Georgiana will be putting them into the chat. And these are: how did the year to live practice go for the past month? Anything from the monthly practices resonate with or strike you? And anything from the reading resonate with or strike you? Just a reminder, the reading for this month was chapter 37 to the end of the book, and the monthly practices were to dedicate more time to family and friends, to recognize that they, like you, are constantly being swept away by the stream of impermanence, to start a group project for the needy, if possible, visit an AIDS ward or hospice, a ward for burned children, a home for the aging. Recognize that mishap is not a punishment from God, but simply an event that can be used as a teaching in mercy and self-awareness. Explore the difference between pity and compassion. Recognize that even good works done well will not keep illness, old age, and death away, that God and the nature of things will not and need not protect us. And finally, to understand that we have already inherited all we need to survive our death, with our heart open and our mind focused on the brilliance of our original nature. There are also some suggestion questions for debriefing the death meditation. And Georgiana will also be putting these into the chat to go along with you into your breakout rooms. The first question is, what was my experience with the death meditation? What was it like to die? And finally, what did I feel with the last exhale? Any questions? Oh, I'm sorry. I read the 11th month instructions, not the 12th. I apologize. Let me see. Okay. Well, sorry about that. I can't pull them up quite yet, but hopefully you know what they are. If you have your book with you, you can go turn to the end of the book where the monthly practices are. Apologies again. Okay. So Diane will open the breakout rooms in a minute. And as always, you should see the pop-up on your screen with a list of breakout rooms by number. And I'm sure that you know at this point, should you be lucky enough to get the pop-up, that you click on your small group number. If you don't see the pop-up, click on More on the extreme right of your Zoom toolbar, and then on breakout rooms, and hopefully the pop-up will appear. Of course, this is all probably different if you're on a phone or on a tablet. As they have been steadfastly doing throughout the year, Diane and Georgiana are here to help you get into your breakout rooms should there be any problems or glitches. And if you find yourself by yourself in your breakout room, please wait a few minutes. It may be taking us a few moments to get the other members of your group into the breakout room. And it has happened in the past that if you are alone, we may be popping in to ask you if it's okay for either you to join with a different group or to have other people come into the room with you. So again, please remember to click on the blue button with the number of your breakout group. And are there any questions at this point? Okay. Diane will now open the breakout rooms. Yeah.
Reincarnation.
It's
Well,
like a pair of ruby slippers.
Yeah.
click 3 times.
Yep.
Unfortunately, all you have to do is click once, though. So welcome back. And we have a few minutes. And I'm wondering if there's anything that anyone would like to share from that emerged from your discussions together. And please remember to raise your digital hand because there's more than one screen of you and I won't be able to see you unless you raise your digital hand. June.
I just wanted to say that 2 out of 3 in our group fell asleep and had to check in with the third person who stayed awake because I was saying, well, I was really expecting all this movement through the body and then it didn't happen. And they're like, oh, yeah, it did. And so I'm hoping there will be a recording so we can experience it again. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And yes, the whole meditation was recorded, and it'll be part of the recording that you receive probably within the next few days. You'll get the link to where it's been uploaded to YouTube. And this isn't the first time I've been told that I can put people to sleep in guided meditations. So thanks. Yeah. And also, the process of this is that sort of, as I was describing, that greater and greater stillness, that the withdrawal completely into the internals. So, if someone's tired, or even a bit sleep deprived, it wouldn't be surprising that that would happen. Yeah.
Ruby, I think Echo has something to say.
Oh, yes, Echo. Sorry.
I don't know. I think you're right. What I found from the meditation, and it's nice to have a recording because it does give, in a way, a template about what to do when you're dying. And then I have been around several dying people, so I could recognize different things. I just wanted to read something that I wrote today. My former wife, who's my good friend, called me and wanted to get together tomorrow, and so I had a conversation with her. And then I put down the phone and I wrote her back. I said, I forgot to tell you that I'm dying today, but I probably will be resurrected tomorrow. I've come to realize that dying is perfectly safe, but I have quite mixed feelings about leaving. No matter what I've done, I'm not really ready. Of all the things I could do in my last 2.5 hours, because it was 9:30, I will go outside and cut greens to finish my outside holiday decorations, visit my sleeping flower gardens, walk in the woods, and write this last note to you. I love you, and I'm crying now. And I was so happy that I could get really emotional, from this course. I said, I love you deeply and always have. I ask your forgiveness for all things that I've done that harmed you. At the end, it is that simple. I will die laying on the ground on Mother Earth, who from the beginning has been and is my true nurturing caretaker.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Echo.
It was very spontaneous. I mean, I didn't think about writing it.
Yeah.
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 Which means it came directly from the heart.
It did. So the course, and it shows me how much the course has meant.
Oh,
Because the course, I mean, that developed in me that. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. You're
I
welcome.
deeply, deeply appreciate that. And, if things like that are coming up for you, and you can come on January 15th, that will be a time really to talk about the year, to talk about the course. So thank you. Yeah. Okay. Well, the next thing we're going to talk about today is the idea of ritual. And with today's gathering and with your dying, our actual year to live work is ending. And your sharing in small groups may or may not be ending as well, but at the very least, it will be transitioning, it will be changing. And when we come to endings or major transitions, it's often useful to mark them with a ritual. Some of us may be quite familiar with rituals, even having designed and led them ourselves. Others of us may not have participated in many rituals. And yet others of us may feel an aversion to the idea of ritual, especially if we were subject to them as children in religious or other traditions that we no longer follow. And to be honest, that was me for a while. The whole idea, given my childhood upbringing, the whole idea of a ritual tended to bring a good deal of aversion. But I actually learned to recognize the value of ritual and the idea that ritual can have its own associations and meanings separate from any sort of institutionalized theory or dogma, as it did for me when I was a child. So as you've seen that throughout the year, I've opened our sessions by lighting a candle and by reading either a poem or a quote. And then I've closed our sessions by blowing out the candle. This is a ritual. So rituals can be simple. They can be quite simple, or they can be more complex. The most important aspect of a ritual is that it have meaning for you, that it touch the heart in some way. So I'd like to give you all an opportunity to talk about whether to create a ritual, either for yourself individually and or for your small group, to mark the end of this year to live work together and to signify in some way your death. And here are some questions to consider. What is the purpose and the meaning of the ritual? What, if anything, should each person bring to the ritual? So, for example, if candle lighting were part of your ritual, you would want each person participating possibly to bring a candle. Sometimes pictures of loved ones, of those who have passed, leaves or stones, something from nature. So sometimes we want to actually incorporate physical objects into the ritual. Who, if anyone, will lead the ritual? What will happen during the ritual? And how will the ritual end? And Georgiana is putting these into the chat because you're now going to go back into your breakout rooms to talk about ritual. You may want to share your own experience with it or not. You may want to create a ritual, you may not. But just to talk about this idea of how we mark endings or transitions. And once we open the breakout rooms, actually, unfortunately, I was hoping you'd have longer, but you'll have about 10 minutes. So I want to give Diane a bit of time because she's going to need to adjust the breakout room clock. And Georgiana will announce when we're halfway through the breakout room. So Diane, when you're ready, please open the breakout rooms. Okay. And I think everybody who is remaining in the meeting is back. So, as I've mentioned, we have reached the end of our year to live work together. But again, Saging International has given us a bonus meeting on January 15th. So we will meet again on January 15th at the same time. And I also understand that this may not work, that you didn't schedule this in advance. And but if you can, the purposes of our meeting will be, first of all, to reflect on the year. There'll also be an opportunity to share about the death meditation, because as I said earlier, it may take some time to actually process and integrate that experience. And secondly, to give feedback about this workshop. What worked? What didn't? What would you want to be different about it? It looks like Saging is going to be offering it again starting in July. So if you know of someone who would have wanted to participate but couldn't this year, you might let them know. People have done this workshop more than once. So if you feel inclined, please don't hesitate. But yeah, to really give feedback. And Bridget is asking about the date. Yeah, today was actually the death date. There are 12 months of practice, and we had started, I had sent out the first month's practice for last January. So today was our 12th meeting. In the saging, so Deb is asking how you'll be informed about the class starting in July in the saging bulletin. And generally, things are put in there at least the month preceding when they start. So at the very latest, you'll see it in June, in the June saging bulletin, and you should be on the mailing list for it. And then the third topic will be continuing in your small groups. One of the things that saging offers is what are called wisdom circles. And you may want to transition your small group into a wisdom circle. And we'll talk about that. If you cannot be at the January meeting, then please feel free to send me your feedback. And I'm going to put my email address in the chat now. So please feel free. I want to hear how this program worked and didn't work for you, and possibly incorporate feedback into the next time we offer it. And on a suggestion, I may even have polls that we take during the January meeting so that we can put your feedback into kind of a data form. Okay, so as always, we end the meeting with the blowing out of the candle. And with the extinguishing of this candle, may the wisdom in each of us and the wisdom in all of us spread out into and be of service to a world that now more than ever needs the wisdom of its elders. And for those of you who may not be able to make the January meeting, I want to say goodbye and thank you.
Goodbye, Ruby, and thank you.
Goodbye, Ruby, and thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank
And
you.
everyone,
I'll see
thank
you in
you.
January, but thank you very much, Ruby. You've been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ruby,
you
so
all.
much. And thank you all. So good. Nice to have moments to
Thank you.
share with everyone. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.